What's going on, guys? So this video is going to be talking about my custom Mobile Haro project that I've been working on. And of course right now you've just got the standard Mobile Haro out here. But what I wanted to show off is the kind of beginning stages of what I call the ball Type S. So the RB-79S for SHOKY. With the combat utility pod. Renamed it. So we just come up here, pull this guy out, and boom. There we go. So we got a ball Type S with the combat utility pod, or cup for short, because when you want to protect your balls, you kind of should put a cup around it. Yeah, you can thank Thomas Rice for helping me out with that acronym. But it does work. So literally what I have here is my HG ball that we looked at before in the HG ball review, which will be up here, hopefully, if I remember to actually tag it. And it's the base model, so that was just that. And you're thinking, man, that fits almost perfectly. You're right, because the HG ball, is actually only a little bit smaller than a Haro. So this guy is just a little bit smaller. Not very much, but it fits really well. In fact, going over it, as we'll look at the actual painted version of this, you'll see that it seems like they had the ball in mind a lot when they came up with this. Now, if you're wondering, well, Shoki, how does that work? How did you get the ball to actually function in there? Pretty simple. And I mean that. It is very simple. So if you have an HG ball, and you've got it assembled, basically you just take off the backpack, side pods, all that stuff. If you have a Haro and you're not going to use it, the plugs that go anywhere around the outside of the body for it to go on a stand, boom. That is literally the only modification needed to make this happen. So what I did was take this peg, or the port right here, set it on the peg inside the armor, laid glue all over it, and a little bit of sprue glue, if I'm honest, and I set the ball in place on top of it, squared it up, because it will sit flat, because the bottom of the ball is actually flat, and then just close that and let it sit until it was dry. And then I had to do it 3 more times because the glue didn't set. I pulled it off a little bit too early, the glue wasn't set. But if you do it and you let it sit for a long time, it will work. But if you remember in the review of just the Mobile Haro, I told you that I'd sanded down that peg just a little bit. The ridges around the outside of the peg that will give it a much more solid connection, I sanded those down. This is why. Because every time I tried to pull the ball out, it kept ripping the thing off the peg, so I just sanded it down. Now you do still get the ability to rotate. Mind you, it is a little bit loose, and if you go too far, you see the exposed sides, but, it is what it is. There's another thing you'll notice. The thrusters from the bottom of the ball are now down here on the crotch. This is the exact same Mobile Haro kit. The exact same one. You can see from the silver and all that. The way I did this is actually a fairly simple mod as well. Just requires glue, and once again, part of the Haro. So we pull that off. I cut off the tabs that usually go in the bottom of the ball. And this is actually just a chunk of the stand that plugs into the bottom of the Haro and goes into the puzzle piece. That's all it is. It's just glued in place there with some sprue glue and regular glue. Sprue glue at least gives it a little bit more structure from the sides. And that just plugs into the stand plug on the bottom, which is a polycap. But that allows you to get some of the ball details here. And that's just awesome. I love this. It wasn't really it's like I had this idea and I just didn't know how I was going to make it happen. When I got this guy built and I saw how simple it was, I was thinking I'm going to have to cut the ball apart, run things down, everything like that. No, it literally took a single part to get to this point. This was an afterthought. I was like, I got to find a way to make that work. And you can actually make it work in a couple different ways. If you wanted to slot the bottom of this the same way that you can with the ball, then you don't even have to modify this at all, and then this will still work mostly with the bottom of the ball. But one thing I'll show you here It's kind of funny, actually, that this is an unintended consequence. You can technically still do that number. But if you wanted to, with the original kind of slot parts there that go right here, if you were to trim this down just a little bit, you could actually probably just plug this in. If you didn't want this to go on the bottom, you could totally plug this back on underneath, and it would probably cover that and still function. You could slap everything, all the parts back on the ball if you want. Now, the backpack and everything, there was not enough room in here to close it. Maybe if the ball itself was scooched further forward, something like this, like, because right now it's not on the peg. If it was closer to the front, there might have been enough room for it, but it's still such a tight fit back there. I don't think it would have worked, to be honest with you guys. Now, one reason I say that I think they really had the ball in mind with this kit, I gotta rotate this to make sure it's facing the right direction again. There we go. If you take the machine guns off the top, they fit exactly into any of the plugs on the body. And say you cut the barrel off of here, because this is just a sandwich piece of plastic. Say you cut the barrel off, it will fit inside there if you want to modify that. I also know that from a particular submission we've gotten in the Balls for Balls contest. But say I didn't want to sand that down. Of course, you could still have that tight enough that when you rotate the base, the ball head will rotate as well. But I love this. It works. The plastics are almost close enough. There's just a little difference between the two different gray blues. But it's there, and it works. It's so simple, and it actually adds a bit of liveliness to it that I don't think the Haro had, especially if you catch the light right, and it looks like an eyeball. And another reason I say that they had the ball in mind. So you've got the porthole here for the ball, the side porthole. Look at the arm socket. That's the identical shape. Now, I took that to heart on the other one that I did. So let's go ahead and bring in the real SHOKY version. And there we go. So, what I did was take my custom painted ball, do exactly the same modifications, which all I had to do was scrape away some paint. But in this case, I took the arms off the front and made it work in there. Now I've got a couple pictures and even a little bit of video here, but I'll show off the pictures instead because the video is for the patrons. The way that the doors plug in, all I did was take them off, set them roughly at a different angle, and glue them in place where they would be, so like adding like it looks like it's on a hinge. Then I took the arms themselves off of the ball, cut it down into shape, and then glued them in place. Now I will say this one here is not very well secured at all. The shape was not quite clean enough, and it has snapped off about 3 or 4 times. So I don't really manipulate this arm anymore at all because it will snap off. This one I'm very reticent about too, but I have been able to maneuver the arm. Now, for colors that I used on this, all of it's Tamiya paints. So Tamiya gunmetal, Tamiya matte black, Tamiya silverleaf, and Tamiya matte white. So remember when I said way back when I got a whole bunch of matte white and I couldn't remember why? This was exactly why. So the arms and stuff didn't require new paint. The ball itself, unpainted still, or any extra paint I should say. The thrusters down here, they're modified the same way. All I had to do was do some touch-up work from where it had scraped off of the base that the ball normally stands on. That's all I had to do to that. And if we come around to the backpack, you saw this in a teaser shot I put up on my community page and on my Instagram. And you can see the backpack is mostly matte black, and then you've got some matte white pipes, and you got big EFSF logo there. That is to mimic the parts from my original custom ball. The thruster is done the same way, so the outside painted white, inside painted, it was supposed to be orange, it came out red, but you can see it pretty much matches. And I still had enough sticker sheets left over that I could replicate a lot of the look that I went for with the ball itself. So I've got the warning stripe going around the center part there. I've got little red warning stickers on the white parts, both front and side. Got some down here on the feet. They do stand out, and a clear coat would have fixed that, but honestly, I don't have gloss clear coat. Same thing up here on the hands and the arms. Got more warning stickers, and I wanted to replicate the way the arms look. So you've got white for armor, silver for mechanical bits, just like it does there. Even the hands are silver, but the back of the hands are white. The only thing I was lacking was these red stripes. I didn't have anything more from that because those came from the HD Origin gun tank, and I basically used them all for this kit and others. So I would have put that around the wrist had I had them. If it comes up again, I'll definitely do it. Now, one improvement I did on the ball itself was just these little red markings around the cockpit, and then I also got a really bad thumbprint right there when I was assembling it. So even much later, after this thing was finished, that paint was still so thick that I could put a thumbprint in it. Now I've got the gunmetal and I've got gunship. I forgot about the gunship gray here, so I did have to mask that off. The doors themselves are also gunship, so those aren't gunmetal gray. You can see that there, so those are matte. Then I added some extra sticker sheets from different things, whether they're Xeon kits or UC kits, or even some Universals, or even Celestial Being. I've just got stickers from all over. And then adding a big one down here on the foot, like it's a sneaker. I like that idea, honestly. And he's number 01. Though my old ball was actually 011, because 11 is my number, but I didn't have more of those. But just to show this off, here's the original like arm tank from my ball, still intact. So you can see what I was going for there. It's literally the same size sticker from the Thunderbolt Gundam. So just copied that off. Worked out really well. So in reality, I didn't modify any of the parts from this guy. These arm parts here, the arm sockets, are actually from the regular ball. This one. So those arms got modified. But if I ever wanted to return my ball back to normal, I probably could, with the exception of the bottom thrusters. And then you can see the backpack itself, the original backpack where I've got the warning stickers and the white paint around that. So I wanted to reference all those same things. Like, this is an actual upgrade itself for the ball that already existed. Now, I can technically move these arms a little bit. I just have to be super careful. So the elbows themselves do still work. One thing I had to do was actually take it apart and flip the arms around, because I put them on upside down by accident, so they weren't facing the right way. At least to me, they weren't facing the right way. And it was pretty obvious when this sticker doesn't line up. That was up top. Couldn't have that showing. But yeah, and then you can rotate the base, and the ball itself does move. I did leave the top of this unpainted for the most part, so that there shouldn't be much drag. Any of these silver details that stand out here were all the silver leaf. I just sprayed it into a cup, and then used my fine point brush and just did some touch-up work. Did it there, did it for any of the bolts or bolt heads sticking out. Makes that very bright in comparison, especially back here on the backpack, stuff like that. But I really do love this guy. So that's the SHOKY custom ball with matching cup, so to speak. And like I said, I'm scared to move the arms. Well, at least the right one. The left one seems to want to function okay. So if I don't tweak the base of it, it should be able to move. Even the hand can move. So they do move. They can do things. They can, and they're strong. At least this one is strong enough that, with the paint and everything, this should be able to hold stuff up. But this one, I've had to re-glue even after painting, and it's just been a pain in my butt, if I'm totally honest with you guys. I wanted to straighten that one out a little, because it was put on off kilter just a little bit. But there we go. That's that guy. Let me plug him in. And yeah, everybody's going to say, if you want those stickers to disappear, you clear coat it, put the sticker on, then clear coat it again. I don't care that much. If I'm totally honest with you guys, it doesn't bother me. I'm fine with it. Now, I do have those hands coming in. They have not come in just yet. I just ordered them yesterday, so they'll be here probably by the end of the week. So this guy is not quite done, because I'm going to put those hands on him so that he can hold weapons or have expressive hands, and I'm making a custom weapon for him as well. So this is an incomplete project as of now. It's still sort of a build log. I will do a custom build log just for that specific weapon that will be for this guy. So my patrons will probably see that, where normal guys won't. I might share one picture but not show you how I got there. But that's just, you know, gotta have teasers for things like that. And once again, of course, if you want to have your Haro out there for comparison. I did think about maybe painting one of these Haros to match, but I can't get that one out. The ball is pretty much in there. Without having to really yank on it to get it out, like I was talking about with that review, I don't know that I'm going to be able to get it out, and I'm not going to take it apart to try. Because the last time I tried to get it out is one of the times I snapped that arm off. So I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to leave it be, guys. So you just live in there forever. And of course, if I wanted to, I could swap out either of these for the main gun, like the main cannon, single cannon that can go on top of them, which I might do for this one, but I have to find the box. I don't remember where the box is, so I have to find that. But guys, if you like this cool SHOKY custom idea, give me a big old thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below. And of course, if you want to make your own, we should army build these. If you have a ball and you have a Mobile Haro, make it happen. Show me pictures. I want to see what's up. Even Rodimus 13 is considering doing it for his custom ball that he made. And I think it would look really cool to have like a display of them up at Hobbytown together. But guys, that's it. Subscribe-ish button. Thumbs up again. Patreon, please help out. Patreon, help out with the SHOKY stores. And Balls for Balls contest. Of course, we're running out of time at this point, guys. Like, it's getting really, really close to being done. So if you have not submitted and you have not entered, but you have something you can, please do. The information will be in the thing down below, or at the end of this, or in the thing up in the corner. Either way, go support, go help out, make some cool custom stuff. And guys, this, in case you don't know, I didn't mention it in the beginning, I did this in one afternoon, including from building it to painting it and putting the stickers on was about 4 hours. So that's pretty good. But I'll catch you guys on that next review for Balls for Balls. And remember, as always, to keep on building.